Okay, let's get into it. Today, we're embarking on a major deep dive.
Hmm.
We've got a stack of sources covering what has to be one of the world's most beloved and, complex culinary landscapes, Thai food.
Absolutely. And it's so often just packaged globally under one single umbrella, right?
Yeah.
But the sources, they just immediately show you that this is a deeply sophisticated regional map. It's defined by mountains, rivers, trade, and resilience.
Exactly. So our mission here is to give you a kind of shortcut to understanding that incredible diversity.
Hmm.
We want to move past just the general idea of spicy, sour, sweet, and really reveal how geography, climate, and history sculpted four completely distinct regional cuisines.
And there are a couple of unexpected lifestyle tips in there, too, which I found fascinating.
Oh, for sure. We'll get to those. But what's really interesting here is this paradox of Thai preparation,
The speed of it.
the speed. Most dishes rely on, boiling, stirring, wok frying, using ingredients that are right there, readily at hand.
And yet, its reputation for these deep, rich, intensely balanced flavors, what's known locally as jatjan, is globally recognized and has been for centuries.
Right. The complexity isn't in the cooking time, it's in the ratios.
It's pure culinary efficiency.
Okay, so let's map that complexity out region by region. Let's start our journey in the north, the mountainous area we often associate with, say, Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai.
Hmm.
What defines this cuisine? How does the environment demand such a unique approach?
Well, we have to start with the staple, the absolute foundation.
Okay,
Unlike most of the south and central regions, the north relies overwhelmingly on sticky rice, kanyao.
right. Not steamed rice.
No, and that's a tradition dictated by culture and, crucially, the cooler climate. This rice is almost always paired with various chili pastes, nam phrik, which are made for dipping.
And sticky rice is so structurally different, isn't it? I mean, you eat it with your hands, and it needs dishes that aren't too liquid. It's almost like an edible spoon.
Precisely. And here's a really critical insight from the sources. The colder, mountainous climate is the direct reason why so many northern dishes are intentionally high in fat.
So it wasn't a choice for flavor, necessarily.
No, not for luxury. It was a practical, necessary adaptation to keep the body warm during that long, cool season.
That makes the region's food immediately distinct. You're
Right.
literally talking about survival dictating the menu.
Hmm.
So if we're looking for these high-fat, warming meals, what are the signature dishes that really show this adaptation?
We're seeing these rich, almost stew-like preparations. The sources highlight ganghang lei,
Which is that rich pork belly curry.
a really complex pork belly curry, yeah, often sweetened with ginger and peanuts. And then there's khao soi, the famous egg noodle soup cooked in a rich coconut and chili broth and topped with crunchy noodles.
The richness of that coconut milk and that oily finish on khao soi is really the key, isn't it?
It is.
And we also see cured meats like the northern Thai sausage, sai ua. It's just infused with red curry paste and herbs and then grilled to release all those oils.
Yes, and we can't forget the dipping pastes, like nam fricom. It's the savory, oily dip made with pork and tomatoes.
So good.
And this high-fat necessity, driven by the environment and, historical isolation, is really what gives northern food its dense, rich, and warming character. The very earthy, comforting cuisine.
That connection between necessity and flavor is so compelling.
Okay.
So if the North relies on fat for warmth, let's contrast that. Let's head south and shift our focus to the central region, which is dominated by the Chao Phraya River Valley.
Hmm.
The sources describe this area as just incredibly fertile, abundant. What impact does that kind of richness have on the flavor?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the sheer fertility of the Central Plains, the rice bowl of the country, it means there's absolutely no scarcity.
Right.
They have plentiful access to rice, river fish, and a huge diversity of produce all year round. And this abundance, it leads not just to variety, but to a kind of purposeful culinary sophistication.
So the central region isn't fighting limitations, it's celebrating opportunity. But if they have access to everything, how do they define their flavor profile? Does it just become a mess?
It's quite the opposite, actually. Because they have everything available, they master the art of the perfect, sophisticated blend.
Okay.
The central flavors are really defined by this nuanced balancing act. It's a harmonious blending of salty, sour, spicy, and sweet across almost every single dish. They're trying to hit all four notes at once.
And that sophisticated blend is what most international travelers probably think of when they think of Thai food, right? That
Yeah.
classic mix of fish sauce, lime, chili, and palm sugar.
Absolutely. And this is the region that heavily uses complex flavor enhancers, especially fresh herbs. But crucially, coconut milk, gabi, becomes the primary thickening and enriching ingredient.
Oh, okay.
It provides that creamy texture and that neutral base you need for balancing all those intense spices.
The texture is so key. It's a very different mouthfeel from the northern stews. The coconut milk adds this smooth, tropical vibrancy.
It really does. Classic dishes that show this. You've got Gangqiao Wan, the vibrant green curry,
Mm-hmm.
which uses fresh green chilies and galangal. And then hormak, which is a savory steamed curry custard that relies completely on that creamy coconut base to hold its form.
The sources also mention dishes like Genkua sub parrot, the pineapple curry,
Yes.
which just beautifully demonstrates that central sophistication, by purposefully weaving together sweet fruit with savory curry paste. It's a bold move.
It is a bold move, and it only works because the region have all the ingredients needed to pull off that perfect equilibrium. It really speaks to the confidence of a cuisine that has access to all the tools
Right. When you're operating from a place of abundance, you can afford to experiment.
and perfect those delicate balances.
Okay, so we've got the warming, high-fat north and the abundant, sophisticated center.
Right.
Now let's jump to the northeast. Faizan. The sources paint a starkly different picture here. It's all about resilience. This is a high plateau. It's drier, less fertile, harsher conditions. What makes Aizen food so famously bold and intense?
Well, this raises a question you brought up earlier. If this is a high plateau, why is there so much fish involved in the diet?
Right, things like larb koi or the need for fermented fish sauce.
The answer is adaptation and seasonal foraging.
I always just assumed Aizen food was all about meat and chilies,
Yeah.
but the sources really emphasize the role of local water sources.
They do. The land is dry, but the region relies on the Mekong River and, seasonal ponds and marshes. People in Aizen became masters of minimal process cooking and preservation.
Okay.
They're known for just accepting whatever's available. So that means foraging for wild plants, insects, which are a crucial source of protein,
Right.
and preserving whatever fish they catch through intense salting and fermentation.
So resource scarcity dictates not just what you eat, but how you preserve it. You're leaning heavily into techniques like fermentation.
Exactly. And that leads directly to the flavor profile, which matches that resilience. It's bold, intense, and it requires very little liquid. It's primarily spicy, salty, and sour. It's designed to wake up the palate and also mask the strong flavors from fermented products like pla ra.
Which is that potent fermented fish used as a core flavoring.
It is. And their staple is also sticky rice, which works perfectly because you need those strong, minimal liquid dishes that the rice can just scoop up. The most recognizable dishes show this intensity. Sumtum, the papaya salad, which is basically just spicy, sour, salty dressing pounded with green papaya. Then larb koi, the fiercely flavored minced meat salad, and soup nor mai, the bamboo shoot salad. There's just nothing subtle about Aizen food.
And that's its genius.
That's its genius.
It's a powerhouse of flavor, but achieved through incredible resourcefulness. It's a testament to the adaptability of people dealing with a tough environment.
And resourcefulness often leads to the most unique culinary outcomes, as we see with Aizen cuisine's global popularity.
Absolutely. Okay, so finally, let's travel down south to the peninsula, which is separated from the other regions by geography and history. The sources note that this cuisine has a particularly distinct character, and it's generally the spiciest of the four. What explains that intensity, and why is it so different from, say, the resilience of Aizen?
The key differentiator here is external influence. It's trade history. The South was situated right along major maritime trading routes. It was a huge hub for merchants, especially from India, China, and Malaysia.
So the South was absorbing techniques and ingredients from powerful maritime partners through commerce, rather than just developing in isolation like the North or Aizen.
Precisely. Indian culture specifically had a powerful influence on the use of dried spices, turmeric, cardamom, curry leaves, which were already part of their cuisine.
Right.
And this fusion created dishes that rely less on the fresh, delicate herbs of the central region and more on these dry, powerful spice bases.
And geographically, the South is a narrow peninsula surrounded by the sea.
On both sides.
So you have abundant seafood. And you're combining that fresh seafood with these deeply flavored Indian spice techniques.
And that fusion is what gives the food its unique character. It's rich, vibrant, intensely savory, and incredibly spicy. We also see clear cross-cultural influences, like the use of nambudu.
That's the fermented fish sauce mixture.
Yeah, and it's very similar to ingredients used in neighboring Malaysian cuisine.
They certainly don't hold back on the heat, that's for
Yeah.
sure. If we're looking for dishes that epitomize that southern intensity, what should we be trying?
You need to look for curries that use a lot of turmeric and are defined by their deep foundational heat.
Okay.
The most intense flavors are in Geng Tai Pla, which is maybe the fieriest curry made with fermented fish innards.
Wow.
Geng Som, the intense sour curry, which is much more robust than its central cousin. And Kua Kling, a dry curry paste stir fry that is practically just pure spice paste.
Kua Kling is a perfect example of that. A dry, powerful curry designed to just coat the rice and deliver maximum flavor without relying on a creamy liquid. It's a bit like the minimal liquid style of Aizen, but using completely different trade-influenced spices.
It's fascinating, isn't it? How two regions adapted to similar conditions, limited water or resources, but did so using completely different flavor palettes, one focusing on local fermentation
Aizen.
and the other on imported dry spices, the South. It's a powerful lesson in regional convergence and divergence.
That is a magnificent culinary journey. From the rich fat of the northern mountains, to the balanced abundance of the central plains, to the resourceful fermentation of Aizen, and ending with the trade-influenced spice of the south.
We've really seen how distinct the four regions are.
So what does this all mean for you, the traveler or the learner? Despite these huge differences, whether it's high-fat, coconut-rich, sour, or fiercely spicy, the sources all agree on one thing. Almost everyone, Thai and foreign alike, finds the flavors deliciously balanced and unique. It's a unifying skill.
That's the thematic bridge, I think. The high level of preparation skill across all four regions is globally admired. But moving beyond the plate, the sources also offered a couple of quick, actionable insights about improving our quality of life.
I found these so resonant because they align with that sort of easy listening, smooth living idea we like to explore.
Right.
The first living tip focuses on relationships at home. It suggests that spending even a short amount of time daily with loved ones, just actively staying together, sharing stories, makes a profound difference.
It's an interesting counterpoint to the rush of modern life, isn't it? It suggests that, just as a simple cooking method can yield intense flavor, a small, dedicated chunk of time can yield massive relational returns. It's about being present.
And the second tip is focused on environmental impact. And it's centered around this incredibly specific small change that anyone can make immediately. It suggests switching from ordinary water bottles,
So those with the big plastic labels.
right, switching from those to label-free bottles.
And this is where the data gets. Well, it's almost unbelievable. The sources calculate the cumulative impact of this one switch.
Yeah.
This small act, the transition to label-free bottles, is stated to reduce carbon emissions by a staggering 4,575.6 kilograms of CO2e per year.
Wait, 4,500 kilograms just by removing a sticker.
Yes.
That's the equivalent of planting
what?
hundreds of trees?
481.68 trees.
That's incredible. That one detail
Ah.
that should absolutely stick with you. It completely redefines what a minor adjustment truly means.
And it ties perfectly back to the cuisine. These minor adjustments, the careful shift in using high-fat ingredients versus coconut milk, or one type of bottle versus another, show that small details, whether they're culinary or environmental, have these disproportionately major impacts.
So we've traversed the warm, high-fat north, the diverse central plains defined by coconut milk, the resilient, spicy Aizen, and the trade-influenced intense south. And all while noting that impressive unified skill of Thai preparation in achieving balance.
Yeah, we saw how foundational ingredients and historical conditions like sticky rice or trade routes or the Chao Phraya River defined how each region adapted. And this raises an important question for you to mull over. If environmental and historical conditions define cuisine so absolutely, what unique flavors are being unknowingly developed today? By the constant global search for quick, simple preparation methods and the endless availability of ingredients in our modern kitchens.
Something to think about as you plan your next meal and look for those opportunities for balance. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.